good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the goddamn wonderful people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Operatic Dave is in the house today. Weird. Anyway, hello everybody. Today's vid, everybody, we are going to do a bit of a comparison-y, shootout-y thing, bob from the Black Lagoon of Blackbeard's Toenail of Doom. Between Ibanez Wah100 pedals, and I have a V1! This has been very, very kindly lent to me by Mr. Davey Holden. So, Davey Holden, thank you very much indeed for the loan of this awesome pedal. So yeah, this is I have never tried a V1 before until I got this the other day, and it's really cool. I love the fact that I've finally got my disgusting little hands on a V1. So, I've decided I'm not going to do a lot with this pedal, mainly because it's not mine. I don't want to use it too much because, I'm terrified of it because it's plastic and flimsy as anything, and I don't want to break it, basically. So I am a bit scared of this pedal. So I thought what I'd do is I'm going to do a comparison video with it today, and then I'm also going to do one more video with it as well, and then I'm going to send it home because as much as I love this, because it's not mine, I don't want to break it. I don't want to get carried away with it and kind of go crazy with it. So I have already played on this, and it's really, really cool, and it's very cool to finally get to go on a V1. Anyway, so today's video, everybody, we're going to do a bit of a shootout between the V1, the V2, and also the Zoom's Wah100 as well. So basically we're going to do like a follow-on from the other comparison vid we did between the Ibanez Wah. Well, it wasn't a comparison vid, but it was kind of like a, how close is that kind of thing. So we're going to do a comparison between, let's say, V1, V2, and the Zoom. I couldn't get hold of a V3. Nowhere seems to have them in stock. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm guessing it's to do with this chaos the world's in right now. Anyway, so comparison and wise, we'll go V1 first, then V2, and then the Zoom. And I'm just going to use the bridge pickup on my John Strat, the one you saw in the intro jam. And then basically I'm going to go away, have a listen, and then come back and tell you what I thought. And as usual, people of the tube, I want to know which one you liked and why. What was it about V1, V2, or the Zoom that you liked the most? Yeah, what was it? So, without further doodles, let's get the V1 changed out for the V2, and let's get on with the comparison thing. Yes. But like I say, oh, by the way, there will be another video with this included at some point soon, but I'm not going to do a lot with it because I'm utterly terrified of it, because it's so... how John Frusciante ever dare use these things in the way he used them, well, he's a millionaire, he can afford to buy more. But they're so... they do not feel built to last, if that makes any sense. Like, how any of these are still actually in one piece, I do not know. I've seen some that are just kind of like super glued. They're more super glued than wah pedal. But anyway, these are terrifying. So, and also I'll talk a bit more about it at the end, about something that, if this was mine, what I would do to it. And I've spoken to Davey about this, and just there's an idea, basically. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the comparison. Shut your mouth, Dave, let's get on with this. So, V1, V2, Zoom, let's go. Okie dokie, people of the tube. There we go. There's the 3 examples. Like I say, we started with the V1, then V2, and then the Zoom. So to me, the V1 sounded really clean. By the way, I had the depth dial on the right side, or left side, should I say? I can't tell left from right because I'm stupid. I had the depth dial turned up all the way on basically each one. So I have a depth dial turned up all the way on that and turned up all the way up on the Zoom. So basically the maximum amount. So the the Ibanez V1, that was really clean. There wasn't a great deal of boost in this. It still did the John Frusciante thing. You could hear it still did that thing. But it's a lot cleaner and not as distorted, and there's not as much kind of like power to it as the V2. Tonally, and the way these things felt, sweep-wise, they're identical. Identical. They feel the same. They feel exactly the same. Apart from the V2, feels like you could actually stand on it and not, you know, make a brown trouser situation out of it. Because that's exactly how this feels at this point in time. It's like, especially because it's not mine as well, I feel like, you know, I'm going to break it. Because they are so flimsy. I never having actually kind of come into contact with a real V1, I'd heard people say they're ridiculously flimsy, but obviously, like, you know, I couldn't wait to see how flimsy it is. And no word of a lie, I wouldn't use this, if I'm being honest. In all fairness, after playing with this one, I don't want a V1. I just don't. They're too terrifying. They're just too terrifying. And in all fairness, out of those sound examples, I prefer the V2. I like the extra boost this has. This has a little bit of extra kind of expression, the V2 to me feels better. I don't know if that's because I've used this for so long and I haven't really used this a great deal, but I can tell. But I've used enough Wah100 pedals. I kind of know where I'm going with it. But the V1 was really cool, and it really is that kind of like John Frusciante Wah100 thing. But so is the V2. In all fairness, I prefer this pedal to this pedal. This one just seems to have it seems to be more expressive. The V2 to me. The V1's expressive, don't get me wrong, and so is the Zoom. But the V1 has got so many things that I don't like. You know, not sound, well, kind of sound-wise. I want more boost out of it. It was very clean. It was very, very clean. And that's really cool, but when I stood on it, it just kind of like didn't feel very powerful, if that makes any sense. Whereas the V2 feels really, and so does the Zoom. It feels like, like power wah, yeah, let's go. That kind of thing. But the V1 felt a bit kind of, it was more subdued. It wasn't weak. It wasn't lackluster. Definitely not. It sounded immense. But I prefer, out of all those three, I prefer the V2. And I really love the V2 even more now. Hearing it next to an original V1, I would like to try a grey V1 because I hear, I don't know how true this is, people of the tube, if you know, let me know. I hear the black ones are a different circuit to the grey ones. So I'd like to know if the reason this is lower on the boost mode is because it's the black model and not the grey model. I'm curioso. So, people of the tube, let me know in the comments section below. If you know if the grey ones have a more output than the black one, let me know in the comments section below. Because I don't know. I've read that, but not having tried one firsthand, I don't know. So, but out of those three, the V1 was ace. It really was cool, but the V2 stole it for me. The V2 just felt, with its metal housing as well, it just felt better. The expression felt better. They felt identical to use though. The V1 and the V2 feel identical, but I prefer the V2. I really do, and like I say, for what these are, you know, being plastic, I just, after playing with this one, I'm not interested anymore in a V1, unless it was John Frusciante's. And you know, if it was his that he used, then I would want it. But I'm not gonna bother with V1s anymore. I'm not interested in them at all. So, I still want to try a grey one, like I say, but I'm not actively gonna go. I've no longer got that urge of I really want to buy one. You know what I mean? Because the V2 just does it for me. You know, in all fairness, I've seen a lot of kind of negativity towards the V2, saying, oh, you know, this, that, and the other. And yes, it does have its faults, definitely. But you know, the switch on the original in here is no different to the switch in here. You know, they feel identical. You know, they're really, really easy switches to switch on. The only difference with the V1 to the V2 in that respect is that Ibanez got this right with just having one foam bar and nothing on the bottom. It makes it work. Whereas on the V2 they put two of those kind of rubber kind of bars on there, and that was just stupid. So, but there is ways around it. Like I say, I mean, I've just put one of the rubber feet from the underside of this pedal onto the base plate of the Wah100, and taken off the other rubber kind of pad that goes on the foot plate, and it works a treat. You know, it works fine. And also, there was the issue with kind of like, you know, that the V2 has that tone suck thing. That doesn't happen if you give it what it wants. And funny enough, that's exactly what this thing does. If you run this thing into a clean channel, it just saps all the sound out of it. So they're identical. They do exactly what, you know, these do the same thing, but I think this one just does it with a little bit more gain. And the thing is, if you wanted to emulate this, you could just turn the depth dial down on this. I experimented between the two. And if I turn the depth dial down on the V2 to about 1 o'clock-ish, so it's like there, it becomes this. It just gets it down to that clean area. So if you turn the depth dial down on here, you get this version of the Wah100, the Ibanez Wah. So V2 wins for me. People of the tube, let me know which one you preferred and why in the comment section below. And also let me know if the black version of this WH10 has different circuitry to the grey version, the originals. Because I really want to know, I'm really curious. The zoom, let's get to the zoom. The zoom wah tonally, expressively, responsively felt and sounded the same as these two. Apart from it had more in common with the boost of the V2, it had more oomph and gain. But it still sounds like it's underwater. And I don't really know what it is. I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm going to have to try and find a way to understand why it's so dark for some reason. Because it's not, when you're on the clean, you know, just without the wire engaged, like, you know, it's really clean. You know, it sounds really, you know, crystal clean and bright. But as soon as you turn on the wire, for some reason, it descends into the depths of muddiness, and I don't really know why it does that, but I don't know. But yeah, so people of YouTube, let me know which one you preferred and why in the comment section below. Like I say, I would take the V2 any day. I haven't tried the V3 yet. The true bypass on-off switch kind of like turns me off it a little bit, but I still want to try it just for, you know, just because. But I don't know. I don't know about the V3, but like I say, my love for a V1 has gone away. As much as this has been wicked, and I'm so grateful for Davey for loaning me this, because I've always wanted to try one. But I'm not... There's so many things that terrify me about this pedal. The number one being how flimsy they are. And I'll quickly tell you what if this was mine, I'll tell you what I would do to it quick. Is I would remove rubber feet off the bottom. So these 4 rubber feet, I'd get rid of them. So the pedal lies flat, because when you turn this thing on, if you're pressing down on this thing like that, if it's on the floor or on a pedal board with these feet on it, you can feel the pedal physically bending in the middle. So it kind of does that, you know, from flat, it kind of does that when you stand on it, and that's terrifying to feel under your foot. You know, you can't attack this with aggression. It's no wonder John broke so many of them. Anyway, another thing I would do as well is I would remove this foam spacer under the footplate, so it was really easy to turn on. So that way the pedal, you know, removing the feet would make it sit flat, and removing that foam would make it super easy to turn on, because this switch has got absolutely nothing to it. There's absolutely nothing to that switch. It's so easy to turn on and off. So I would basically just do the Jimi Hendrix mod to it. So it was literally a case of, you know, you just like stand on it a little bit and it would turn on. But yeah, so and I know a lot of people get V1s, and what they do is they take the guts out and they put them into a V2 chassis. But I don't see the point, because they tonally do the same thing. You know what I mean? There was a difference in boost, but not tone, if that makes any sense. And feel-wise, they felt identical as well. Like I said, this one felt the same as this one. The only difference was this was cleaner. The boost on this one was not as powerful as that one. But like I say, if you want to turn the boost down the V2 to like 1 o'clock, you get this identically. So yeah, I don't really, as much as it's been fun and I've loved it, and I have other video planned with this thing. This has brought it into sharp focus, and again, massive thanks to Davey for loaning this. But it's only brought in sharp focus how I don't want a V1. I'm not interested. I'd have another V2. Like I said, the only V1 I'd ever want is one that John Frusciante used and he signed, and he gave me with his hands. But that's not going to happen. So anyway, but yeah, people of the tube, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Like I say, V1 was awesome, but didn't quite have the power for me, and there was a little bit lacking in expression, only a smidge, like a little bit, like not even that much. But it was still amazing, and I still love it. But the V2 stole the show for me. I absolutely adore the V2. It's so cool. Once you get once you kind of like get that kind of mod done with the underside of the foot pedal, you know, you're away with it really, and they're just wicked. They are just wicked pedals, and yeah. And if you're a John Frusciante fan, you know, you don't need a V1. Get a V2. And if you can't get a V2, the zoom does a hell of a good job. I don't know why it's so dark, but I'm sure you could just brighten it up. It might just be the way I'm running it. I don't know. But, you know, it does the thing. You know, you can get the whole John Frusciante thing out of that pedal. You know, you don't really need. You know, you can even get a DS2y kind of sound. It's actually pretty close to a DS2 in that thing. You can get the whole thing from that Zoom. So if you're on a, I can't remember how much those things are now, but if you're on a budget and you want John Frusciante's tone, Zoom G5, you can't go wrong. But like I say, if you are after kind of like, you know, individual physical pedals of John, get the V2, forget the V1. The V1s are great, they really are great, but the V2 does exactly the same job. You know what I mean? To me. Like I say, I haven't tried a grey one yet, so I don't know if they're different. People let me know. But, yeah, V2. Cool stuff. Anyway, people of the tube, I hope you enjoyed this vid. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I really want to know what you hear and which one you prefer and why. And tell me, well, what the difference was, and, you know, would you go for a V1 or a V2? Now, especially if you're a John Frusciante fan, because I know there's a lot of you out there, which one would you go for after hearing this? Would you go for V1 or V2? You know, because I wouldn't go for a V1 anymore. I'm not interested in them anymore. So let me know, comment section below, and I'll see you again for another vid, everybody. Have a great morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. And, yeah, see you again. Have a great one. Goodbye now.